There are people who want to believe in God with everything in them, but they can't get past the one question that keeps echoing in their mind. And I used to think this when I was an atheist. If God is real, why doesn't he just prove it? Not in subtle ways and not in coincidences, not in feelings. They want the sky to split. They want the thunder to spell their name. They want God to have his own radio station and speak directly to them. They want a miracle with their signature at the bottom. Something undeniable. Something unmistakable. Something they could show to everyone and say, "See, I told you." And if that's you, I want you to hear this with love today. Because God sees you, God hears you. God is not angry with your questions. I've found over the years that when I ask questions like this, it's frustrated the Christians that I've asked. Well, how can you not believe? How are you denying God? And it's like, well, I'm not denying God, but I have questions. See, I'm very intelligent. And God created my mind to be inquisitive. And I just have questions. I have a hard time taking things at face value. Sometimes my brain just likes to dig a little deeper. And you know what? Doubt like that does not disqualify you from God's grace. In fact, your search for proof is often the first sign that God is already drawing you closer. Now, I want you to think about this because this is a truth most people never realize. When a person says, "I want evidence before I believe," what they often mean is, "I don't want to get my hopes up. I don't want to be disappointed again. I don't want to be wrong. And I don't want to believe in something that might fall apart." But I want you to listen carefully. God doesn't give you proof to erase your fear. God gives you himself to hold you through it. You see, what you're calling proof, God calls relationship. He's not trying to win an argument. He's trying to win your heart. And if you want proof, start with what you already know. Let's look at your life. There have been moments when you should have lost your mind, but you didn't. Moments when you should have given up, but something kept you going. Moments when you've made mistakes so huge you thought you'd ruined everything. But somehow, life kept moving you forward. Now tell me, who held you together when everything else was falling apart? Who gave you the strength you didn't ask for? Who preserved your life when you weren't even paying attention? Who kept the doors open that should have slammed shut? Who protected you from the things you still don't know you were saved from? See, faith isn't blindness. Faith is noticing what has been happening for years. And the most overlooked proof, the human heart. You see, if God didn't exist, why would the human heart long for meaning? Why would we crave justice? Why would we instinctively reach for hope? Why would we feel the difference between right and wrong, even as children? See, you were born with eternity wired within you. Animals don't wonder why they exist. Trees, they don't debate purpose. And stars don't question meaning. But you do, because someone put eternity inside you. Your longing for God is already proof that God placed that longing right here. You see, God isn't hiding. He's humbly inviting you. People say, if God is real, why doesn't he just reveal himself in one big display so everyone would believe? But God doesn't want forced followers. He wants willing sons and daughters. He wants a relationship, not a reaction. And if someone has to scream in your face to get your attention, well, that's not love, friends. If someone has to overpower you to get you to stay, that's not a relationship. You see, love invites, love draws, love whispers, come and see. And proof that forces belief can never create love. And you see, God is love. And this is why God rarely shouts from the sky. This is why God rarely hits people with lightning bolts of revelation. He knows that if he overwhelms you, you might believe, but you wouldn't love him. You'd fear him. And fear never leads to relationship. Now, God whispers because he wants you close enough to feel his breath. He wants you near enough to hear his heart. He wants your spirit quiet enough to sense him. Look around you. The way your heart softens when you pray, that's a whisper. The unexplainable peace that washes over you, that's a whisper. The way your tears fall when you hear certain scripture, that's a whisper. The way you know somehow you're not alone, that's a whisper. The very fact that you're searching for God right now, that's a whisper. And do you know what whispers mean? Whispers mean closeness. Whispers mean, I'm right here. Now, the proof you're really asking for is peace. What you think you're asking for is evidence, but deep inside, you're really asking for peace. You're asking for someone to quiet the fear, someone to steady your heart, something to make your life feel stable again, something to tell you that you're not walking alone. And evidence? Well, evidence won't fix that. Arguments? They won't fix that either. And debates are not going to fix that. But the presence of God, it will fix that. Because God doesn't just want to be understood. He wants to be experienced. And what you call doubt, God, well, he calls the beginning. See, doubt is not the opposite of faith. Doubt is the door faith walks through. Every disciple started with questions. Thomas? Well, he wanted physical proof. Gideon? He demanded signs. Moses just doubted his calling. David wrestled with fear. Jeremiah questioned everything. And even John the Baptist, the one who baptized Jesus, sent a message from prison asking, are you really the one? You see, God did not reject them. He strengthened them. And your doubt isn't pushing God away. It's pulling him closer. Now, here's a simple challenge for the one who needs proof. If you want evidence, try this. Now, this is not a test or a demand, just a sincere invitation. Say this one sentence with honesty. God, if you are real, show me yourself in a way I can't miss. Now, that's not weakness. That's courage. That's the beginning of relationship. And here's the promise. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. When you take one step, God will take 1,000. And when he steps toward you, fear breaks, chains fall, your heart softens, your spirit lifts, your soul, well, it wakes up. Your mind clears, and suddenly the very proof you've been searching for becomes the person you've found. Not an argument, not a sign, not a formula, but him. And when God steps into a life, you don't need a scientist, a pastor, or a professor to convince you. You feel the shift. You feel the clarity. You feel the healing. You feel the peace that you can't explain. That's your proof. That's your evidence. That, my friend, is your miracle. Because belief doesn't come after proof. Belief becomes the doorway to it. And once God reveals himself to you in a way that's personal, intimate, specific, and overwhelming, you will look back and realize he was there all along. He was speaking all along. He was protecting you all along. He was guiding you all along. You just needed faith to turn around and see him. Now, for the one who still needs proof, here it is. You're still here. You're still searching. You're still hoping. You're still wanting something more. The hunger is proof. That longing is proof. The spark in your spirit is proof. That voice saying, there's something out there, that is God calling your name. And if you follow that voice, even one step, you will find the God who has been following you your entire life. Truth. God bless you, my friends.